You need to listen to me. I'm going to teach you something here. The first thing you got to do is detach your emotions right now. Okay? You're not a liberal. You're not a conservative. You're not Republican. And you're not a Democrat. You're just a human being watching something. I don't want you to focus on the news channel, and I don't want you to focus on what's being said. But what I'm going to show you is how they manipulate your thinking process. Now, right before the show started, I saw this thing. I don't even care who this is. I don't even care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it's being fed on CNN. Again, it doesn't matter. Let's not pretend it's CNN. But I want you to listen how they interrupt the broadcast and the words that they use to feed your emotions, to control you. Because that's what news is. Controls your emotions, it controls your decisions, and it gets your ass and your mind and your brain to just absorb and obsess. Obsess. Watch this. You guys don't even know what I'm about to show you. Listen, not to what she's saying, but listen to how they interrupt and the words they use.
Released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election.
Doesn't matter.
On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation.
In the attempt to give these extreme allegations, how do you not understand that is dipping in your mind and telling you what to think before you even have a moment to digest the situation? That is no different than I walk in and go, this person is attempting to give these outrageous allegations, and if you can't stand this person or you can't stand the other news, you're already all in. If I'm a liberal, I'm like, yeah, it's crazy allegations. It's just insane. That is called brainwashing, and if you're falling for it, you're being brainwashed. Listen to the words they use to manipulate your thoughts. Conspiracy.
In the assessment by the intelligence community at the time that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
Listen again to the words they use. Are you ready? This is mind control. Right now, someone's going, you need to interrupt the program. They're not reporters. CNN is not reporters. None of these news networks are reporting. They're telling you what to think. They interrupt and listen to the words. And mark my word.
Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation that President Obama is guilty of treason and that he worked in some sort of conspiracy with Hillary Clinton, etc., in the assessment by the intelligence community at the time that Russia interfered in the 2016 election.
Multiple intelligence community assessments released.
If you can't see what that just did, now, if you label yourself as a liberal, If you label yourself as a lefty or a Democrat or whatever, you immediately just made up your mind because they told you what to think. They told you what to think. If it wasn't Tulsi Gabbard, and they're not talking about Obama, they're talking about cheese. If CNN came out and they said, we just found out that this cheese years ago had we found all the receipts, we found all the proof to prove that this cheese tried to prove it was a hot dog. And then all of a sudden the news feed goes, we interrupt this program because, they're continuing to make these allegations that are just the conspiracy that are outrageous. Watch how many people tomorrow are going to go, did you hear about these outrageous conspiracies? All the cockatoos are going to, because that's all you are. You think you're informed. You're just a cockatoo watching the news. Conspiracy, conspiracy, outrageous, outrageous, conspiracy, conspiracy. Watch. That's how brainwashing is. And I had people go, whoa, we're more intelligent. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you're emotionally involved. I'm not emotionally involved, and I can see how ridiculous that is. I can care less what the subject matter is. I'm more concerned that so-called trusted news channel is telling you already how to take the situation, how to think about it. That's not their job. It never was their job. And the minute you realize that news is not here to feed your soul in a good way, in a human way, they're just here to create negative, hateful, and control your thoughts and your emotions, you're going to be able to deprogram yourself from this entire system. And it gets easier and easier when you detach your emotions. Oh, that stuff drives me nuts. That stuff makes me nuts. It makes me more nuts that people don't see that. How do you not see that? Like they just purposely jump in. Like, hold on a minute. Here they go again with their outrageous. First of all, let me explain something again about any news channel. And this includes Fox. Sorry. I know some of you don't want to hear that. It's all propaganda. Stop watching television. Stop watching television. Is that easier for you? How many of you trust everything you see on the television? I know I still have family members. If they don't see it on the TV, it doesn't exist. Where'd you get that? From the internet? Yeah. I got it from the place where, and the internet can be dangerous, but not as dangerous as networks. Networks. They throw the net. They're casting their net to grab you for their nightly programs. Tonight's program, as we tell a vision onto you, think of how much of your life you trust that a TV or someone on a TV will tell you. You know what it's like sitting with, I had family members. And if you don't think for one instance, whoever runs television, every single network, please don't be foolish enough to think that they don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. We need to get human again. We really do. I'd like one day where there's no such thing as any political party. Wouldn't that be fun one day? Like when you're in your home and your family, is there, when you have your aunts and your uncles and your cousins and everyone's together, is there a political party? Is there a left group or a right group? Is there, don't you remember that time when you're hanging out with your friends and your barbecue and all that? Are you voting who the smartest person is? Are you voting on who the wisest person is? You know, years ago, we used to listen to older people. This system has trained us to push them aside. They're getting old. They're getting yucky. Just, put them somewhere. What a disturbing way to treat humanity. They're the ones that have all the knowledge. They're the ones that had all experience. We have all these malls. Wouldn't it be like if you had malls and buildings and all that jazz? Why not, again, if you're going to take money for war, hey, let's send this country millions of dollars. And by the way, if you're let's say you're a pro Zelensky fan, have you ever seen him dancing around in tights? I want you to do right now. Look up, what's the name of the guy who runs Ukraine? Zelensky. What's his first name? I have no idea. Well, it doesn't matter. Zelensky. Look him up and look up the days when he was a comedian.
Voldemort.
He's an actor. It's all a show. It's a movie. It's a show. He's dancing around with tights. It's all just a movie. When television shows you something, whether it's your political leaders or whatever it is, you're only seeing you're seeing a photo op. You're seeing a model shoot. That's all it is. And it's able to control everyone and their thoughts and everything. You have no clue what's going on behind the scenes. You have no clue what that real human being is. Please, TV, television, tell a vision. Tonight's program, we're going to program you. It's really that simple. It's that simple. And they put it in your face, just like what I just showed you. This is just outrageous, ridiculous. Who is any news network? Are they inside? Do they know all the details? The balls and the audacity to not think a human being can think for themselves. And to me, quite frankly, that's a crime. What that channel just did, that's a crime. You just told people how to think, and you have that power, and you know that, and I know that too, because all you did it during the whole vaccination world. And by the way, everything I say is just goofy, and there's no facts here, and if you got it, good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm so excited for you.